the South African Reserve Bank says the liquidator of VBS Mutual Bank has now received all claims lodged by depositors who had money in the defunct bank, and now that the reconciliation process can begin. The claims include those exceeding the threshold of 100,000, beyond which claims are guaranteed by the Reserve Bank. According to data from the liquidators, these include 171 claims from individual retail depositors with a cumulative value of 41.5 million rand, and 240 claims from Stokvel saving groups, burial societies and other entities. Now these together add up to 20.5 million rand. Let's speak to the liquidator now, Mr. Anoosh Rooplal, who joins us via a video link from Johannesburg here. Mr. Rooplal, thank you very much for your time. Also, tell us more about the process that you are now going to embark upon now that you've received all claims from the depositors. I suppose the key question to ask is, will everybody get what they think is due to them?
Good morning to you and your viewers, and thank you for having me on your show. Certainly, yes, we're at a point where claims have been submitted, and that's been returned to us by the master. And effectively, the process is to reconcile those claims back to the books and records. The reason for that is we check for legitimacy of the claims in terms of the accuracy of the quantum, and should we need to, we would then either expunge or reduce amounts that are being claimed accordingly. So most certainly, this is a good point in the liquidation. It allows us to progress further, and quite right, we are sitting with approximately 411 individuals and burial societies and stockpiles that have lodged claims to the value of about 62 million in total, and that represents approximately 90% of those individual or what we call retail depositors that had amounts over 100,000. That was deposited to the bank. Clearly, all amounts below 100,000, those depositors had access to those monies which were transferred to Nedbank. So the process from here really is to, check against the books and records to establish the correctness of the claims. And the idea then is to move forward in terms of our collections, in terms of realizing assets that are that belong to the bank, and to collect on those. And at some point in the future, then we would be able to, hopefully make distributions in some quantum to qualifying creditors. Yeah. And it's not always possible in a liquidation to achieve 100% recovery of your money as a depositor, but most certainly that is dependent on the recovery of assets, which may equate to a percentage of what your actual claim is.
Yeah. Let me ask about the legitimacy of the claims. How does someone prove that their claim is legitimate? What kind of documentary proof do they need to have or send to you for them to make sure that they receive what is due to them?
Yes, so the Insolvency Act does prescribe documents that needs to be completed with the likes of an affidavit, supporting documents. And in the case of the depositors, clearly that would include proof of deposits into the bank and any supporting documents which we can then check to our records. Yeah. Where we can see external flows of money coming in, that really is a sign of real money that was deposited, as an example. And that helps us with the process of verifying the correctness of those amounts, and of course the depositor.
So I would like for you to make a distinction, therefore, because we spoke about individual depositors, and then there is also a mention of retailers. There is a specific amount of 100,000 rand threshold. Explain what this all means.
Certainly, and it's retail, not retailers. Retail deposits are really, what we commonly refer to as individuals and burial societies. We've termed that retail depositors. So if you recall, at the early stages of the curatorship, any depositor that had money below 100,000 deposited to VBS was effectively able to get access to that money, which was transferred to Nedbank. So the Reserve Bank at that point had provided, or National Treasury had provided a guarantee, so that any depositor with an amount of up to 100,000 Rand could go into Nedbank and, claim those monies and withdraw those monies. And I'm glad to announce that, approximately 70% of those depositors having deposits less than 100,000 have in fact accessed their monies. Right. There still remains a portion, and primarily these are, yes, there are a number of depositors, approximately 5,000, but with low value deposits that have still yet to access and get those monies, and we encourage them to do so. As far as the liquidation is concerned, depositors with amounts more than 100,000 is what's now being lodged with the estate. And that's where you have to lodge a claim, and I encourage those that haven't to come forward and to continue lodging the claims, because those depositors will then have the benefit of any distribution that's made to them in future.
Yeah. We'll talk about the deadline that these people have until they lodge these claims. But before we get there, municipalities, millions of Rand deposited into VBS, illegally so. Do they stand to get anything at all? Because previously we were told it's next to nothing that they will get. Certainly.
Look, the municipal depositors do comprise the largest portion of our deposits, with the bank. They're circa, approximately 1.5 billion Rand of deposits that were made by municipalities. So those were, real monies that were, made by municipalities deposited to the bank. So they would qualify, they do qualify as creditors. The next biggest category of creditors would include business depositors. Those were various business type entities that had deposits with the bank, as well as the PIC, which also...
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but how much a municipality would get back or would stand to gain from the monies or the millions that they deposited into VBS?
Sure. So with the municipalities, business and retail depositors, all being depositors now and effectively proven creditors, those who have proved that is, so they are proven creditors of the estate of the bank. So they would rank, equally, or what we refer to as pari passu, concurrently. So whatever amounts or whatever assets are realized would be distributed to all proven creditors in proportion to their deposits, because they rank concurrently for sharing in any assets out of the bank that's realized.
Okay. Very quickly for me, deadline. I see a date of July 8, 2021. Is that the deadline for anybody who wants to lodge a claim?
Yes, it's 8 July 2021 deadline is for those depositors who have balances less than 100,000 Rand. And those monies are available to those depositors to come in and to go to any of the Nedbank branches and to claim their deposits, and we encourage them to do so. For those that have balances of more than 100,000 and who have not yet lodged their claims, we are encouraging those depositors to also come forward and lodge such claims with me as the liquidator.
All right, Anoosh Rooplal, I think that's very, very clear. Thank you very much for clearing that up for us, liquidator of the now defunct VBS Mutual Bank.